Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is Arcane episode 3. So last episode we got this other perspective of the laboratory that they had stolen all of these little magical objects from. It confirms that there's kind of like magic in this world, which I kind of expected anyway. And then we saw a bit more of kind of Piltover, the higher class people, and some of their struggles. Introduced to this scientist, Jace, who's now going to be working with this Victor guy, you know, trying to come up with this combination of science and magic, a way to harness this magic. And then last episode it ended off with what seems like is going to be an uprising against Piltover and the Enforcers. I don't know if Vi is about to kind of lead the attack and lead the charge here, or if she was about to kind of turn herself in, but it seems like something's gonna be going down very soon. And there's a lot of distrust within the underground. You know, people have started to lose faith in Vander a bit, so I feel like some of the people we saw step away from Vander before, they're gonna come in and lead this uprising as well. And of course, Deckard, he's taken this drug and he's going crazy, whatever this drug does to him, and he's kind of unaccounted for at the moment, so I'm expecting him to show up, maybe just causing chaos. Is he just going to be like a bull in a china shop, or has he retained some of his humanity and can actually control some of this power? I don't know. So before we get into this, be sure to check out the Patreon. Over there you can find early access. I'll probably be on episode 6 or 7, maybe even finish the show by the time this comes out on YouTube. You can also find full-length timer-based reactions where you just sync up your own footage if there's anything that was cut out from the YouTube edit, and you can also find polls so you can vote for what's next. So yeah, let's just jump right into Arcane episode 3.
Ever wonder what it's like to drown?
Okay. Is this some Silco backstory perhaps?
There's peace in water.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have his scar.
And it's raging. Lighting every nerve with madness. To fight. To survive.
This makes sense, like why his base is underwater. He kind of admires the water a bit. It's both deadly and tranquil and beautiful.
For that, I thank you. Old friend.
Old friend, is that Vander? I don't know, just from the silhouette I feel like that could have been.
Vander?
Oh, it's Vander, it wasn't the Enforcers.
I'm proud of you. Always have been. You've got a good heart. Don't ever lose it. No matter how the world tries to break you.
Are we losing Vander here? That's what it feels like.
I'm not putting you away, Amanda.
The council needs its pound of flesh.
Yeah, so Vander's the one giving himself up.
Falls apart.
Yeah, he's head of the underground.
Vander, no! I can't do.
Maybe if Vander goes, you know, Vi and Paola could just start to take over, be the new leaders of the underground.
What's happening?
There's still violence outside though. They're still being attacked by the Enforcers or something. Or there's an uprising happening. Ooh. That wasn't Grayson, was it? Oh shit.
The devil. No.
There's quite a few of them down, wow. Who was this? This might be Deckard? Oh, Silco himself.
Silco. Wait!
Is that Benzo just dead, just like that?
Stubborn to the end.
And that's Deckard, in control by Silco.
Deal's changed.
Oh yeah, because he had the deal with Marcus, didn't he? I want to get a better look at Deckard.
No!
Lose it. Yeah, we're gonna lose Vander here, aren't we? That looked like it just knocked him out. There hasn't been a kill shot yet, but they're gonna take Vander, okay. But that means they might use Vander, they could infect him as well. Yeah, it's never worth it taking the bribe. It seems Vander is still okay, but I feel like he might end up being used as a weapon by Silco, and that will be a great moment. Like if Vi or Powder have to fight against an infected Vander who is like completely lost his humanity, you know?
Well, we could test it if we had access to my equipment.
Which is being destroyed tomorrow.
So it's not destroyed yet,
Locked away in Heimerdinger's lab.
but he has access to the lab, yeah.
Scientists seek discoveries. Ways to make the world a better place.
I don't know, I have this bad feeling about Victor, like maybe he'll stray too far or something. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just prejudging him too much. Oh yeah, Echo must have found Benzo as well.
I saw everything.
Yeah, Echo just sees everything, doesn't he? He's like these eyes in the sky. Deckard, he looked like he'd like deflated a bit. Before he was like really big and muscly, but maybe the effects are wearing off now. But they have loads of this drug now, like mass reducing it, yeah.
It's a little crude, I'll admit. The base violence necessary for change.
Title of the episode, isn't it? Sometimes to make change, violence needs to happen, otherwise they won't listen.
Won't win a war against Piltover.
I don't have to. I just need to scare them.
Scare them enough to never come back, okay.
We shared a vision, Vander. A dream of freedom, united as one. The nation of Zorn.
Zorn finally getting a name for the underground. Piltover and Zorn.
And you betrayed me.
Was it a betrayal or was it Silco going too far?
I've never forgiven myself.
Okay, so he regrets what happened.
Can you imagine what it's like? When your blood mixes with the filth and the river toxins eat through your nerves.
It was like infected him a bit.
You kept my respect. Until you made peace with them.
So Silco resents him for compromising.
We have the power. We can finally realize our dream.
Is Shimmer the name of this drug then?
You die for the cause, but you won't fight for one.
Not that man anymore.
Yeah, he renounced violence, didn't he? We saw that before. I do love the architecture there.
So far, so good.
Oh, but it seems like she might be supporting them a bit.
Even if you managed to prove your theory, the Council would destroy it.
Yeah.
Counselor, this technology, it's real. We should be the ones to lead it.
Yeah, so it's like the technology will be invented eventually, so we should be the ones to do it. But you know, I think both sides would have this mentality of we should be the ones to have it, and it becomes like a Cold War, like with nuclear bombs. They're so dangerous that we think, oh, we should be the ones to invent it, and then both sides end up inventing it, and it just becomes, you know, a Cold War, like I said.
Well, if the enforcers hit tonight, we'll be ready. I think.
Dibs on the bat.
Oh, they'd taken some of Vander's weapons. I love Vi's facial expressions, like even from the first episode, the first time we see her facial expressions have been great, especially when she's like sad.
Who took Vander?
I don't know, but I need to help him.
We're going with you.
So, Vander rescue mission perhaps?
Echo followed them. The old cannery next to the docks.
Is Vi gonna end up using these gauntlets? Because before in the intro we see she has like these other more upgraded gauntlets later.
You're not coming.
I'm not afraid.
It's too dangerous.
She just wants to protect Powder though.
I know what I said.
I want to fight. I can help.
You're not ready.
But if something goes wrong and Powder isn't there to help, she'll blame herself.
I can't lose you.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, light it up, and I'll find you.
What are they doing with it though? Just like harnessing the energy? What is this machine actually going to do?
The resonance will stabilize it. Trust me.
I feel like Victor might know more than he's letting on. Perhaps she's really going through it. I wasn't expecting it to be this bad. No, it's got all the gems in there. That would just... They seem stable, but it doesn't look like they're going to explode this time. But now she's realizing that they're essentially bombs.
I can help them.
She's going to use them to fight, yeah. I feel like this isn't going to go well. She's going to show up to try and help and maybe get captured or something.
Let's get Vander and get out.
I think they're like too emotional at the moment to be able to fight. Like their head isn't in the right space, you know? But could tampering with this one affect the one that Powder has? Oh, reversing time maybe? Or is it just sucking it back in?
Incredible.
The window broke and then the glass came back, but I don't think the glass was reforming. It looked like one cut someone, so it isn't time, I don't think. But it's like general magic, so it could have multiple purposes, you know?
We're breaking you out.
So Vander hasn't been infected yet, which is good.
It was easy. We found an open window and...
Is it too easy?
Vander the coward fled town with his children.
Okay.
You don't have to do this.
Yes, I do.
Can she take that big guy on? She has this gauntlet, but I don't know like what it does, how well it enhances her. Block it. Oh, knocked him right off of his feet, wow. Yeah, you can tell Milo is struggling with this lockpicking. I don't know if he's quite in the right headspace, you know?
Take a breath.
Yeah, he needs to calm down. You know, Vi's coping quite well with them attacking, but they haven't released anyone who's been like infected yet. Like the second someone takes some of the drug, then it's over. It feels like. Yeah, it's just be overwhelmed. Too many at once. We saw a glimpse of this lady earlier. Yeah, it looked like Silco was reaching for something. Look at all of the side effects it's having on Deckard Low. Feel like someone's going to intervene here.
Hurry.
Vander's going to take the hit for her, isn't he? Yeah, the reaction speeds, just crazy.
This is between you and me.
You had your chance.
Hopefully Powder can just like blow up the bridge so no one can get across. I love the way his skin has gone like monotone now. Oh yeah, because there's the explosion. Okay, so like the runes on it have activated. It teleported before, is it going to teleport them out of here?
Will you please stop hovering?
Not sure how to do that.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's time.
Yeah, it's kind of ushering in this new age, you know? Stone Age, Bronze Age. There's always industrial revolutions that kind of go along with stuff. Yeah, hopefully Powder doesn't draw too much attention to herself. Didn't explode, but it gave enough time. Oh, wow. A huge explosion then. That just like completely disintegrated her arm. Wow, okay, yeah, so just destroying everything essentially. Knock-on effects. And we have this kind of mirroring the scene of Silco. Ooh. Oh shit. If Vi finds out, or someone else finds out, they're gonna blame Milo and Clayton's death on Powder if they died, but it looks like they could be dead. It was like the orb like shot off somewhere, maybe it's being attracted to the other one that was activated in Piltover. No, Vi's okay, but I don't know about the other two. It looked like it just went straight through Clayton. Of course he's okay. Vander, I think we're gonna lose Vander here as well. He's gonna, you know, save Vi and sacrifice himself. He's finally back in the action. Oh, that's a great shot. Yeah, those two facing off. Decker's just gonna be too strong, I think. Chuck him over the edge, get away from him, best bet probably. No. Oh. Yep, and then she knows. So is she gonna blame Powder for all of this then? Oh, the scenery here is just amazing. Of course, it's Silco the one to actually do it. Is that the blade that he took from Vanda before as well? He's not gonna finish the job though, is he?
I knew you still had it in you.
Yeah, Silco forced his hand, made him, fight again. Is he going to infect himself? Or like some of this could just get into his cuts, he's so blooded up. Yeah, he still needs to protect Vi. Look at him, he's like the Hulk, how huge he is. Can he control it? He hesitated when he saw Vi at least.
Take care of Powder.
But she's gonna blame Powder. Powder's gonna blame herself as well.
My monkey bomb finally worked.
Oh, she's proud of it as well. She doesn't even realize.
I was saving you. Why did you leave me?
Because you're a jinx! Do you hear me? Milo was right.
Yeah, there we go.
No. Violet, please.
This is the first time we've actually heard her being called by her full name. The voice acting for Powder here is amazing. Silco's gonna bring her in because Powder doesn't even know like Silco's behind all of this, does she?
I'll kill you if he hears you. Come on.
Yeah, there's no way he kills Powder here. I'm sensing maybe a redemption for Marcus now that he's realised his mistake.
Hello, little girl. Where's your sister?
She left me.
Yeah, so he's gonna groom her into his next warrior.
It's okay. We'll show them.
The anger in her eyes now.
How could I have ever let you down?
Just a final red dot as it zooms out, kind of like Silco's eye, Okay, so that was episode 3 of Arcane, and just what a fantastic episode of television. As always, the visuals are just on point here, and it's not just that everything looks nice, but it's kind of the blocking and the framing as well. That shot of Powder's eye kind of through Silco's arm, that was great. There's just so many great shots, and then this kind of slow-mo with the action just to really emphasize how hard some of these people are being hit. Having Silco and Vanda have some history, it just makes complete sense. It adds kind of another level of richness to the backstory and to the world building. They both have similar goals, just different motives and different ideals to go along with it. Silco is obviously kind of the more radical revolutionary rather than Vanda, who is willing to compromise for the safety of his people. We finally get a name for this underground, or like a proposed name maybe, of Zorn. Silco is trying to bring about the revolution of the nation of Zorn essentially, and he's going to be using all of these drugs as a way to get there, to power up his army so he can take down Piltover. But Piltover, they've got their technology advancing as well, with them being able to harness this magic now. So it's kind of the stakes are rising on both sides simultaneously, So that's a great way to kind of raise the stakes. Once these technologies start to develop, we don't know who is more powerful. It creates this sense of mystery. We don't know if the magic is more powerful than the drugs or vice versa. It's just this kind of natural progression of power scaling as the show progresses, which is really cool. So Vanda was like fully ready to give himself up for Vi, which makes complete sense. Like, I thought that would be what happens anyway, but of course it all gets interrupted by Silco coming in here with Deckard and just taking out the enforcers. We lost Grayson. Marcus survived. But, you know, this was all set up by Silco, but we just didn't really know that yet. We know Marcus and Silco had this deal, but I thought Silco was giving Marcus the drug. But it was just this setup, and then we see Marcus, now that he's lost Grayson, perhaps he has seen the error of his ways and he's going to reform a bit, and he's definitely going to want revenge on Silco. So maybe Vi and Marcus could start working together now. There's kind of this power vacuum now. I don't know if Silco is going to be the one to kind of fulfill this spot as leader of the underground, or maybe Vi can take over from Vander's place. This is kind of the end of Act 1. So this is like perfect time for a time skip where we get maybe Vi is now head of the underground, and of course Powder's being groomed by Silco a bit, so then there's going to be a clash again later on, and then we have the natural progression of everything in Piltover. Now that they have this new magic technology, they can advance some of their technology a bit, so all around the technology has advanced, and there's obvious points where progression happens, you know. So I think Vi obviously assumes that Powder is dead, and Powder doesn't really know about everything that Silco's done. I think, like, she obviously saw Deckard was attacking, but I don't know if she's ever actually seen Silco himself. So Silco can bring her in, groom her into this warrior essentially, and then there's going to be this big moment of conflict between Powder and Vi. When Vi realizes Powder is still alive, Powder would hold resentment because she essentially left her to die there. The way they've set up this conflict between the two, it feels really natural. It doesn't feel like it's just a misunderstanding. Powder, she was obviously trying to help, but she caused all of this chaos. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like this conflict between the two is forced or unjustified, you know. It feels like an actual good way to get them into battle and get them into conflict. This magic technology that Piltover is going to be producing now is really interesting because we don't really know the capabilities of it. You know, we've only seen the explosion caused by the energy that it creates, and we've seen the teleportation and some like anti-gravity stuff as well. So it'll be really interesting to see how they harness this magic and this energy and what they use it for. I imagine there'll just be like a kind of general perpetual energy kind of solution where everyone has energy. It just produces energy for the whole city, but then how can it be applied to weapons? Well, they have the explosions, so there's obviously a lot of energy and force behind them, so they could create guns and things that blast energy harnessed by the magic. But I do hope there is some like more crazy out there things that it can do as well, like a little teleport belt or something. Or, you know, I thought there might have been time manipulation before, but that might have been just kind of like a magnesis or a telekinesis where the glass exploded and it came back in. I thought the glass was reforming, but it just kind of got dragged back in because we saw it scar someone. So there's like some telekinesis happening here perhaps. So there's like loads of opportunity of different things they can do with the magic. Of course, I think if I'd played the games, I'd probably know what that magic could do because it must be a holdover from the games, right? But it is really interesting, this mystery of what the magic can do from here on out. Then this episode had a huge body count as well. So we lost Benzo, we lost Grayson, we lost Milo, and we lost Clayton. Grayson, of course, she was just taken out by Deckard. Same with Benzo as well. And then there was a few just kind of grunt enforcement officers there as well, but we don't really know who they are. And of course Echo saw the whole thing. We've seen before that Echo, he's always omnipotent, he just sees everything, he's always up somewhere observing down, he's always just been this kind of passive observer. So I'm wondering, like, later on, is he going to come into the fray a bit, or is he just always going to be this kind of figure who's observing? I can imagine him like in a chair with loads of security cameras or something. He just kind of is always knowing what's happening, but I feel like because he is such an observer, he might feel like he doesn't participate enough, so maybe he does get into the action a bit as well later on. No, just like how Powder, she was told to stay and she just couldn't do that because what if something goes wrong and she's not there? I feel like Echo might feel the same. You know, Vi obviously blames Powder for what happened because she set off this bomb. You know, we didn't really know that this bomb was going to be as destructive as it was because the first one really wasn't as destructive as this. So it seems like the gems, you know, they're not predictable, they're very unreliable on what they do, especially with the explosion side of it. Because we also saw it looked like the gem flew off, and it looked like it just went straight through Clayton, like just through his head or something. I don't know. So I'm wondering if I saw that right. I'm not exactly sure. I'll probably see it when I'm editing as well, because I'll edit and see everything again, so I might see what actually happens to it. It looks like it just kind of flew off. So I'm imagining it's flying to Piltover, where they just built this new technology. So now they have another gem as well. I don't know how many they actually have there in total now. Of course, I have to give a huge shout out to the actor for Powder. She was just great this episode. Like, her voice acting alongside the facial animation was just great. All of her like breakdown scenes earlier on, and then right at the end as well, those scenes were just great. So of course we lost Vander this episode. I was kind of expecting that. When Vi and Vander were having this conversation, I could just see it coming. It was like painting on the wall, but I wasn't expecting it to go the way it did. You know, I was expecting this episode there would be like an uprising, but it was actually just this conflict between Vander and Silco. I thought maybe Vander would give himself up, and then maybe the people in Piltover would actually kill him for everything that's done, make him an example. But then obviously he gets kidnapped, and I thought he was going to die protecting Vi, and then he gets thrown over the edge. I thought, oh, okay, so Vi is still like trapped under, and then he's there with all of the Shimmer. I believe Shimmer is the name of this drug, because we did see Silco say that. So he takes it, and now he becomes this Hulk monster, you know. I'm glad he retained his humanity as well, because I was worried after he'd taken it, would he lose control, end up hurting someone else as well? And then there's all of that guilt that comes along with that. But he essentially sacrificed himself to save Vi, which is what I was expecting. But it just, there's so many things that kind of got in the way. What I expected to happen did happen, but there were so many twists and turns along the way, you know. We've seen so far Powder, she's really into this like crafting these little bombs, and now she is working with Silco, and she's going to have access to all this new technology as well. If they can airize this drug, maybe she can build bombs that will essentially blow up, and then anyone who inhales it becomes infected, you know. There's a lot of opportunity with what can happen with Powder now, and we see the return of the Jinx name. She is eventually going to embrace this name of Jinx. She always jinxes everything. You know, this just confirms it, what happened this episode. If she wasn't here, I don't know, would it have worked, their plan? I'm not sure. They were close to escaping, but I don't know, they might have just made it out. So it could have gone either way, essentially. But obviously she's going to blame herself for everything that went wrong, and Vi has blamed her for everything that went wrong. But I don't think Vi is as resentful towards her. You know, obviously she had this outlash in the moment, but I feel like if she'd thought that Powder had survived, because I think she thinks that Silco kills her, if you think Powder survives, I think she would forgive her eventually, because she was just trying to help out. It wasn't malicious what Powder did. It was more out of ignorance. I think more of the resentment is starting to come from Powder now, and with Silco kind of manipulating her, he can manipulate her into hating Vi even more, especially if Vi kind of takes power in the absence of Vander now. And then with the whole Piltover side, you know, I think maybe I misjudged Victor a bit, but I'm still a little bit suspicious of him just because of what he was saying about starting from nothing and rising to the top. Maybe he is just using Jace a bit to gain a bit more power. I'm not exactly sure. And then we see Jace and Victor, they have the support of the counselor, and now Oppenheimer has given him the support. Not Oppenheimer, Heimerdinger. Because his name is Oppenheimer and Schrödinger combined, right? Oppenheimer, who created nuclear weaponry, which seems like a good comparison. I already compared the magic here to nuclear energy and like a nuclear arms race a bit. And then Schrödinger, obviously that's Schrödinger's cat. I don't know how much significance that plays to him. Maybe later on we'll see his character is a bit more mysterious. We don't exactly know what he is. He's like Schrödinger's good guy. You know, you don't know if he's good or if he's bad, or there might be some aspect to him like that. Or it's just because he's like this little mouse creature. He's this little animal, so Schrödinger is associated with Schrödinger's cat, which is an animal. This technology is definitely going to develop from here. Maybe we will see some conflict between Jace and Victor later in how they are using the magic system, because I do, like I said before, I imagine weapons and things are going to be created out of it, and that doesn't seem like something Jace would want. He wants to develop technology for the betterment of humankind, you know? So there is some kind of moral differences that could occur there. And then I just want to double down on how gorgeous this episode was. You know, the first shot of Silco in the water, and then in the final fight with all of these flames in the background lighting everything. It was all just really gorgeous. And the compositions as well, like we had this shot of Vanda on one side of the frame and then Silco on the other side of the frame, staring each other off. It was all just really great, this episode. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment. If you really loved it, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up to date for all the future episodes. And if you're interested, check out the Patreon where you can get early access to the next few. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.